Tune in to news across the galaxy where they talk all things LA Galaxy with the Nag Boys. Let's start nagging.
What a ball for Ricky Peach.
News across the galaxy. Keep on nagging, guys. Your six-time MLS Cup champion, LA Galaxy.
Samuel Taylor Coleridge once wrote, flowers are lovely, love is flower like, friendship is a sheltering tree. All the joys that came down shower like of friendship, love, and liberty. And a pleasant good evening to you wherever you may be. Welcome to News Across the Galaxy, where we talk all things LA Galaxy. I'm your host for tonight, Edgar Zuniga, and working the ones and twos behind the scenes all the way from the frozen wasteland of northeastern Utah. It's Chewy. What's up, Chewy? We are exactly 1 week away from the LA Galaxy season opener. And after all the questions and all the wondering of silly season, it's time for the rubber to meet the road. LA Galaxy went through the preseason with a record of 4 wins, 1 draw, and 2 losses. And now they face a busy week as they first travel to San Miguelito, Panama, to take on Sporting San Miguelito on Wednesday for the first leg of the first round of the 2026 CONCACAF Champions Cup before returning home to face the Pigeons, New York City FC, on Sunday in Major League Soccer's season opener. After the nightmare MLS Cup hangover of 2025, LA Galaxy is determined to not let 2026 go the same way, even after learning that midfielder Ricky Puig, arguably the heart of that 2024 MLS Cup winning squad, will also miss 2026 after re injuring his knee and requiring another surgery. Joining us tonight to get you prepared for the start of the 2026 season, to give you insight on what to expect, the good, the bad, and to share their hopes and concerns. Please give a warm welcome to our good friends. First off, coming at us from Cosmos Closet, the co-host of La Cuna Galaxionet, Tuyo, Rob. Hello, what's up, Rob?
Hey, what's up, man? Thank you so much for having me on. Can't wait to talk a little start of the season with you guys. Thank you guys so much for having me. Keep on nagging all day.
Second, coming at us from the super secret members only pub located beneath Victoria Block, the main man himself, Eli Lesser.
Yo, what's up, guys? Good to see you. What a fine looking group of gentlemen we have here assembled tonight. I'm very excited to preview what will be an amazing season for the Galaxy.
Thank you. And rounding third base and heading the home plate, coming out as live from the Riddler's Revenge Ride at Magic Mountain, way atop. I heard you got stuck up there. The host of Talking Galaxy, Peyton Bodoin. Did I pronounce your name correctly?
It's Bowden, but the intro is fire, man. I did not see this one coming, but thank you very much for the warm introduction. Yeah, I'm excited to talk Galaxy soccer. I mean, the season is right around the corner. You know, it felt like we were deep in the off season for such a long time, and now we're like ready to go. And yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to talking to you guys about some Galaxy soccer today.
Raise your hand if you survived the Inter Miami trying to grab everybody project, where it seemed like every week they were trying to take somebody's best player. I know LASC had they were having like fits every week. First they were coming after one player, then another, and every club was like, "What the hell are you guys doing? You're playing with funny money." But hey, they're the league's sweethearts right now, so they can get away with whatever the hell they want. But we're not here to talk about them. We're here to talk about LA Galaxy. Gentlemen, welcome to the show. First of all,
Gracias.
what have you been up to this weekend? Let's start with Peyton, because man, I know you're stuck up on that Riddler's Revenge. I see how dark it is. How you been, man?
I've never even been on that ride, but yeah, this weekend's Valentine's Day weekend, obviously. It was my birthday on the 13th.
Happy birthday.
Thank you,
Happy
thank you.
birthday.
So I've been spending the weekend with my girlfriend, but it's been nice. I'm looking forward to the season starting right now, but it's been a calm weekend of preparation for some Galaxy soccer, but also enjoying the last non-LA Galaxy weekend that we're gonna have here until probably about November-ish, maybe December if we get lucky.
Yeah, like Yandao said, this is the deep breath before the plunge. Eli, what you been up to this weekend, buddy?
For the third year in a row, unfortunately, I was single on Valentine's Day, but who's counting? But I did get lucky and got an invite to the NBA All Star Saturday night yesterday,
Ooh.
which I did blunder, and I thought it started at 5 when it started at 2. But thankfully, I made it on time to the dunk contest, which was underwhelming, but it was still cool to be there and witness it in person for the first time. Never gone before, but that's what I've been up to.
Man, I don't want to get into that dunk contest because I saw the highlights and I was like, what the hell was that? I think you were there for a funeral. They buried that poor dunk contest, dude. Rob, hey, buddy.
Yeah.
You're coming at us on Cosmos Closet, man. How was your weekend?
Yeah, it's been nice, man. Valentine's Day for me and the Minister of Finance of the Zilan household was very low key. When you've been married for a while, you kind of already have figured out the game on Valentine's Day. Like, don't go out because it's going to be a shit show. And then if anything, just order in. We just kind of hung out at the house. I made some food. We watched a couple movies, and it was mellow, man. It was beautiful. It was the way it was meant to be. Very low key and stress free.
Yeah, over here, very chill. I think we kind of forgot it was Valentine's Day weekend.
Jeez.
We're so focused. Like, I mean, it wasn't just me. It was my wife too. We were so focused on like work and taking care of our 5-year-old, who like is pretty much the center of our universe. And so, um, we did go see a movie on Friday. We saw that movie, the animated movie called Goat, the one that was financed by Stephen Curry. And um, my goodness, that movie is like it's like if you blink, you'll miss something. And my wife is like, "What you think of it?" I'm like, "Man, it's like a nonstop commercial, like one of those crazy
Did you say
commercials
it's
that
called
just
Goat?
it's called Goat, yeah,
About Will Kuntz or what?
yeah, right." No, it's a crazy movie. It's a little basketball guy who's literally a goat, and he wants to like be like a NBA, like not an NBA, but like a roar ball star, which is like basketball, and they're all animals. It's pretty interesting. But yeah, if you go in there, man, let me just say, don't go in there like having had any kind of like mind altering, substances, because you'll walk out of there like in a fifth dimension or something, because it's insane.
So don't go see it with Peyton then, is what you're
Yeah, okay. I was gonna make
Yeah.
a comment about that, but yeah.
So, guys, let's start talking something that we can all relate to, because everybody loves this time of the year, because it's not just the beginning of the season, but MLS kits are out. I know that a lot of people look forward to this because, hey, the jersey that you wear is like a flag that you wave across the season. A lot of times, the teams spend a lot of times. I'm sorry, they spend time talking to focus groups and to fans, trying to figure out what they're gonna put on their kit for the next 2 years, and then sometimes it seems like the teams just don't care. They pick something out of a catalog and they're like, "Yeah, I go with that," and they just throw it out there. It comes and goes. But let's talk about the new LA Galaxy kit. Chewy, I don't know if you could put it up there. I know we've heard so many people talk about the new uniforms, but it's just us here. We could talk about it about our own team. I know everybody's already seen it. Um, I think I'll go first. I think that it's nice to see the sash back. It's kind of like a throwback to the 2019 kit, which had kind of like the same color scheme. And nothing wrong with it, but my God, there's two things that I really don't like about it. The first one is something that every MLS podcaster I've talked to has complained about, and it's those stripes on the shoulders. They're way too thick, man. They're ugly. They like ruined the whole look of the kits, in my opinion. And then as far as LA Galaxy is concerned, I really don't like that weird gap with the sponsor.
Yeah,
It's
for
it
sure.
just looks weird. I was telling Eli before we came, it looks like somebody just slapped a bumper sticker on there. Those are my thoughts, guys. What do you think?
Man, I agree with you, man. That sash is nice to have back, but the placement's just weird because of the sponsor that's on there. You know, I mean, I guess they got to give prominent feature to the MLM that's on there because I guess they're contractually obligated to. But you know, there was a way to do this where the sash runs all the way through, and Herbalife is still prominently featured. I just think that they kind of missed the mark on this, especially because, like you said, Edgar, they take like 2 years to do this. They probably would have reached out to folks that would have told them, you know what, that kind of looks a little funny. You should probably have the sash running all the way through. And if no one did say that, then I'm very surprised. But nah, I'm not a fan. Of course, at some point, you know, it'll go on sale at the Citadel for like 30, $40, and you know, wifey will pick it up, and it'll just sit in my closet because I can't wear it anyway. So you know, but yeah, I'm kind of underwhelmed personally.
I'm more positive on it. I think it's great. Yeah, if they listen to the fans, we would have Modelo on it and not Herbalife. But I think I am very happy with it. I think it's a step up from our last one. I love the sash being back. I have very fond memories of the 2018-19 one. I think, that's one of our better home kits. And to me, it's like everything you want in a Galaxy kit, sans or take away the sponsor. And I also love the yellow accents on the cuffs and the collar. I think that adds depth to it. And the shorts will also have that the yellow accent as well. So I'm pretty stoked. I think it's the best we could get, all things considered. But yeah, I did see someone post a version online where it had the full sash and it had a Herbalife over it, and I think that looked a little better.
Truth,
But you can't make a trash sponsor look good, so that's just how it is.
double
100%.
truth.
Peyton?
Yeah, I'm with Rob on this. I mean, honestly, this is one of the most underwhelming Galaxy kits in a very long time, in my opinion, because it just feels like a rinse and repeat of 2019. I agree with pretty much all of you, and the fact that the sash needs to be all the way through the kit and the sponsor placement is just weird. I mean, you could even just get rid of the little Herbalife leaf thing there and kind of recenter the sponsor and extend the sash out a little bit, and it looks better. For me, my bigger gripe is the fact that I know the sash brings a lot of Galaxy fans, happiness, and it reminds them of the, good days. I'm over the sash. For me, I am over the sash because I feel like as a club, we've kind of moved beyond it. In terms of, I feel like the ghost sash should have been the end of the sash era of the LA Galaxy, and they could have gone in a new direction. I just It's hard to style. It's hard to style a sash, in my opinion. Just a big, big old sash across the middle of the kit. When you're not going to LA Galaxy games, I feel like it's very difficult to, just put on a good outfit that contains a big old sash in the middle of your shirt. It's a little difficult for me. The star alignment, I'm not a fan of. I think this star alignment here is perfect to me. Considering you have six, when you get seven, you could go ahead and do what they're doing now. But I'm just not a fan of the star alignment. I think the sash is too big. It reminds me too much of 2019. And yeah, the sleeve things, the big old stripes just aren't doing it for me. That being said, I don't hate it. I feel like it's gonna be one of those things. It's gonna be one of those things that we just forget about. We're
Oh,
gonna forget about this, like the
you're
2020 home kit, you know?
I mean,
big,
what's
big,
wrong with the
big
sash?
Pate's like big Pate's like I don't hate it. I'm gonna spend a couple of minutes
Yeah,
trashing
yeah.
myself.
I'll give you every reason why I don't like it, but at the end of the day, I like our color scheme. That brings it up. Teams with a good color scheme can never make a terrible, terrible, terrible kit, in my opinion, unless they completely just go off the rails. It just doesn't feel ambitious enough for me, and that's my gripe with it. Where it's like, it's not terrible, it's not the worst thing I've seen, but it's underwhelming when I feel like the past few years we've come from the Ghost Sash, the community kit. I mean, the away kits have been amazing. It feels like they weren't ambitious enough with this one. And I hope I hope I'm proven wrong. And it looks better on the players. I knew it'd look better on the players. So yeah, go ahead, Eli.
My disagreement is that I think the sash is important for us as we try to be, a global brand. And, there are a few clubs in the world that are known for having a sash, and everyone
Right.
knows, like River Plate, they're going to have a sash. And I think the Galaxy want to be like that. And, I think if we are the iconic brand of American soccer, we have to have an iconic look. And I think, with all the iconic clubs around the world, all of their jerseys are relatively the same every time. And I think sans a sponsor and the placement, I think this is like one of the best versions of the sash, because I love that 2018-19 one. Sure, it could be lazy that it's a repeat, but for me, I like it a lot with the navy with the little yellow accent. I think that's perfect for us.
By the way, I want to quickly address that our good friend Adam did come through with two super chats. We will address those. We will put a pin on them for now because we're going to address that exactly what time we're getting into the home opener and expectations for this home opener and the season. Thank you so much for asking those. We're definitely going to get to those. Um, as far as the kit, man, I love this sash. I like feeling like the prom queen everywhere I go. It's put on some
You
shorts, and
are,
some
bro.
jeans. Thank you. Look at me, my little crown there.
Yeah, all day.
But you guys mentioned that some other teams, right? They really put a lot of thought into their kit. Well, this one is the Velocity kit. I mean, it's some story attached to making it look like, I don't know, like some kind of speed tachometer or something like that. Um, Before we came on, we discussed which ones we like the most from the rest of MLS, and I really liked the Atlanta United one. I thought that's amazing. The spirit of '96. We're talking about the '96 Olympics. They put a lot of thought into it. The Their logo looks like a gold medal, which I think is fantastic. It's beautiful. I mean, look at this thing. And I heard that once you get up close, there's a lot more detail on it in that green little area there. It's a gorgeous kit. It goes against their traditional color schemes. I think this is, to me, it's the cream of the crop. Um, and then Peyton mentioned that the one that he liked the most was the one from Sporting Kansas City, which is one of my top picks as well. That's another beautiful kit. And when you hear about what the inspiration is behind that one, it's an homage to the jazz district in Kansas City. And
That's
you
nice.
can see the purple, the blue, the neon lights, and the argyle pattern, which is something that Sporting Kansas City has made their own. This calls back to what Eli was saying about the sash. You have a sash, which is a determining trademark, a look, a certain style that you have. And you look at Argyle and
Visual logo.
MLS, and that belongs to Kansas City. So, Rob, what do you think?
Yeah, I actually agree with you on the Atlanta one, man. But I really like the Toronto one as well. They went down the middle with those stripes, and yeah, I dug it, man. It's kind of an interesting look for them. It's a white shirt with the red, but they made it look classy. I mean, it's like I forgot which one of you guys said, but you can't mess up a good color scheme. So
Yeah, I'll get that Toronto one up right now because that's another one that I thought was really nice. They had some pretty weird looking ones in the past, but um, because they struggled with their whole. I mean, they wear red, right? That's their color, and for the longest time, they got away from wearing red, and now they're starting to get back to that. And they're known as the boys in red, the Red Patch Boys, and all that. So that's another nice kit. Let's see. I sent it over to.
wait. They're out there like willingly being known as the Red Patch Boys.
That's one of their supporters groups, by the way. Hey, like, can you confirm that too?
I think they go as the Reds, like Liverpool goes as the Reds or whoever. I think they just call themselves the Reds.
Yeah, but they do have supporters group called the Red Patch Boys. By the way, I think it has something to do with some Canadian history, which I am not privy to. But yes, this is the new TFC one. It looks a little blurry right here, but it is really nice. Clean design. They went with their secondary logo, which I think it's different from the one that we're used to. So kudos to them. But let's move on. This is the next thing we're going to talk about is something that you might, if you pay close attention to some of your favorite content creators and MLS journalists, this is something that hit home with a lot of us because a lot of us are familiar with Matt Doyle from Major League Soccer, who's no longer there anymore. And we've been hearing about how a lot of MLS broadcasters have been getting let go. We heard that MLS will no longer have broadcasters travel to games. Everything's going to be centralized, which I think is kind of odd. We were so used to having for so many years our own Joe Totino be the voice of the Galaxy, whether it was a home or away. And then we saw his responsibilities were kind of stripped away in recent years. We heard the same thing from our good friend Dave Johnson, who covers DC United. He says, I would love to travel with the team again. Unfortunately, they're not letting us do that anymore. So, um, and then you hear about what happened with Matt Doyle. And I know, Eli, you wanted to say something about that because we've been hearing so much about all this AI and AI is doing this and that. But my God, the stuff coming out of Major League Soccer nowadays. Mm-mm. Hey, Eli,
Yeah,
let's hear about
well, this isn't necessarily about Matt Doyle, but more about the AI stuff because I kind of off the record talked to a bunch of people about it that work at the website and how why that decision was made. And this has nothing. This isn't the Matt Doyle part. This is long before that. But with those articles, basically what they told me is their excuse for it, and this is just me being the messenger. This isn't me sharing an opinion. Is that the articles that are written in AI are recap articles that no one reads and that no one really, it's a waste of resources to have real people write them where they feel like they could be writing better or, other stories. That's just what they told me. I'm not here to defend them or not. I'm just being the messenger here. Just want to make that clear.
Eli, interestingly enough, I have heard from publications that they are targeting analysis pieces or like opinion pieces rather than straight recap pieces because they don't do well for SEO. And like this is getting off the rails and getting into the weeds of organic Google search and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, no, apparently ESPN and SI and like the big public like Yahoo, all those big publications have stuff like straight game recaps cornered already because they have the organic search. So when it comes to stuff like that, a lot of smaller publications aren't even trying for game recaps. They're really pushing us journalists to go ahead and produce content that's more geared towards, like I mentioned, analysis or uh, more in-depth pieces about player personnel, stuff like that. So yeah, no, I mean you're right on the money, man. That's what I've been hearing, in separate circles as well.
Yeah, and it also goes towards the fact that as MLS content creators and journalists, podcasters, we're always trying to do things a little bit different, right? Because you have people that write game recaps, but we're trying to produce and share different kinds of experiences from being at an MLS game, a Galaxy game. I call back to when I first got my first press pass in '97. My mentor was Graham Jones. He was a writer for the LA Times, and I would go to games and I would try to write game recaps. And he told me, there's like a bunch of people already doing that. And in your position, you have an opportunity to do something different. So he's the one who encouraged me to start looking at different things. And so I put together a little column back then called Galaxy Behind the Scenes, where I would talk to players, I would listen to the conversations that they would have with fans, and I would just see their interaction, and I would write pieces about that features, and it really helped me a lot back then. Cut my teeth and just become an all around more well-rounded journalist. But us podcasters, we're always doing that anyway, right? And it seems like now the pendulum is swinging towards that. But when you have somebody like a Matt Doyle who's offering something that's not traditional, but giving you a lot more information that really works for the fans who want to have a quick digest of what's going on in the league, and then you see the league just kind of kick them to the curb, it's kind of upsetting because he's somebody that I know a lot of us have become used to seeing him as a source of information, kind of like a Tom Bogert type person, and now he's not there. But the good thing is that he says he's going to keep covering the league, and this is a lot of things. One of the things that binds us all together is that we all have that love for the league, for our teams, and that's something that keeps driving us. Am I right, gentlemen?
100%.
Dale.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So let's move on. Let's talk about LA Galaxy, right? First things first, LA Galaxy, before we start the season, we have the CONCACAF Champions Cup. Coming up is the champions from Panama, San Miguelito. You know very, very little about this. I did. I'm trying to line up a preview with a journalist who covers them, but it's only in Spanish, so that's going to be kind of interesting. But San Miguelito, team from Panama, Panama as a team, I mean, as a country as a whole, they're a team that has now become a perennial World Cup attendant, at least, and they become one of the tougher teams to deal with in the CONCACAF region. Don't know what that exactly says about their local teams because most of the time the players that we see really shining for their national team are players that have more international experience. But what do you guys think about this matchup against San Miguelito? Should LA Galaxy be concerned about this team, even though we know so little about them?
Well, they've already kicked off their season. I mean, they're not deep into it. I mean, they're only I think like 4 or 5 matches in, but that's 4 or 5 matches that they have on fitness on the Galaxy, right? Obviously, the Galaxy have to go through the travel of getting out there to Panama. We had Charles Boehm on Thursday, and he let us know that there's a possibility that they could be moving this match to the National Stadium. That's going to be kind of like a game time decision, but that would make the conditions even more imposing because Sporting San Miguelito's stadium doesn't hold that many, but now you're moving it to a national stadium where it holds a lot more. And it's going to be an imposing atmosphere for the Galaxy. We always call these games that you should win on paper, and then you kind of just worry about trap games because the Galaxy should win this game on paper. They have the talent to. The entire team has been pretty much together for a good part of preseason. So you expect them to go out there and take care of business. However, it, anything could happen. It's the Champions Cup, and they did lose to Herediano in the first leg last year. So there's that.
Yeah, go ahead, Eli.
Oh yeah, I think for me, obviously this is a game we should win on paper, but I also think it's just a great test to kick off our year. Starting with a match in maybe a rougher condition for us, a lot of travel. Maybe the field isn't as up to par as some of the MLS fields are. But for me, it's about getting our legs back. Yes, we just had a nice preseason in Coachella, but for me, I just really want to see what the new guys can bring and how they've gelled. And this is the perfect way to do it before the MLS season. So to me, even though this is a real match, it kind of still feels like a preseason match to me. And then hopefully there's a next round for us, and then it'll start to feel like we're in the Champions Cup. But I'm just excited to see, some of these new guys in their first competitive match with us.
Eli, are you flying out to Panama?
I am not.
Peyton, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think two things can be true in this matchup. I think the first thing is that the Galaxy cannot play the underdog gimmick here. We are the favorites. We are a Major League Soccer side that spends as much money as we do on transfers. We just added Justin Hack, Jakub Golesnes, all of the players that we added this offseason. We're not the underdogs. However, this is not a game to take lightly. And, anybody who kind of pencils this in as an automatic win over 2 legs for the Galaxy might be a little surprised, I would imagine, because I think especially when you go against a team like this, it's not often you get this much media around you, this is an opportunity for them to make a statement as a club, to beat the LA Galaxy. We have a target on our backs. And whether the Galaxy realize that or not, it might make for a very difficult first leg in Panama. I would expect that they're going to come out guns blazing and try to get like a shock goal and just completely derail the Galaxy, bring us straight back into 2025, like immediately from the jump. I'm sure they want to, make us relive everything that we lived through last year. But we have the quality to go through, and I think we will over 2 legs. So, yeah.
My biggest advice to the guys going down there: please, please, please do not drink the water, and make sure you take your own food, because we saw what happened to Columbus. We saw what happened to Vancouver. Man, and let me tell you, I'm from Central America, and when I go down there, I don't drink the water, and I'm very careful about where I get my food. So, um, moving on, gentlemen, let's talk about the first five matches of the season, and this is where we address a couple questions from Adam. Adam, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. First one, he says, "Yes,
The
what?
big homie Adam.
Yeah,
Shout out Adam.
yes. What time are you guys arriving to the home opener?"
Pretty early. I don't know. I missed the digs, man. I want to get there. What time's the match again? 5?
4.
4?
Mm.
Ooh,
All right, then I'm gonna try to be there at 1 at the latest. Like I'm trying to take in the stadium, take in the vibes, take in the tailgate. Y'all will see me dancing. Try not to offer me too many shots because I don't say no to them.
All the shots.
But I will be there, and I'm very excited to be back and to see everyone again.
You know, Adam asked us this the other day, and I gave him. I try to be at the stadium an hour before matches, but I kind of was thinking about it the other day, and I really should get out there early, soak up the vibes, just like Eli said, and there's going to be a hardcore show. There's going to be bands
Oh yeah,
out there. Um, Peyton said that me and him are going to go into the mosh pit.
Yeah.
I'm
So
going in the mosh pit. Y'all will.
yeah,
I'm stage
Oh,
diving.
no,
Are you kidding me?
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
We
So I
will be
mean,
there.
yeah. So I mean, we got to get there early for that for sure.
Yeah.
yes, and we're talking about Barrio Slam which is being hosted by ACB. I'm looking right here. There's a new hardcore band called Cienfuegos, and we're gonna have some other bands there. This is gonna be
Bastos.
at the ACB tailgate pad, lot 13.
Lot
I'm a
13.
metalhead. I'm gonna be wearing my Galaxy metal vest, so you'll probably see me get in the pit for a bit. I'm looking forward to that. I'm gonna try and get there as soon as I can. As you can hear my son's running around in the background over here.
Mosh
But
pitting right now as we speak.
Yeah.
yeah, and then you're gonna see me like limp into the stadium. But it'll be worth it, baby. It'll be worth it. My body's ready.
Yeah.
um,
30. Yeah.
okay, and then let's look at Rob's. I mean Adam's other question. He asks, "What are your expectations for the home opener and for the 2026 MLS season?" Well, we're gonna get into 2026 MLS season in general as we go further down this conversation, but let's start off with the first five matches of the season. Obviously, the first match of the season is against New York City FC, the Pigeons. We just got one of their best players. Uh, Off the cuff, guys, just real quick, what do you expect for that first match against the Pigeons?
Well, against the Pigeons, I think we'll fare pretty well. I mean, they don't have a striker right now, so that's always a good start for us. But to answer like the first 5 matches question, I'm feeling like I think it was 2021 where we came out of the gate. Chicharito was banging in goals after a terrible 2020 season, and for me, I'm feeling that type of vibe looking at our schedule right now. I think we're going to come out of the gate strong. Whether we finish that strong will be tough. But looking at our schedule, I mean, NYCFC at home should be favorable for us. Charlotte FC, they're a great team, but they sucked on the road last year. So hopefully they suck again on the road. Sporting KC at home, they barely have 18 players right now. So that looks good. The Rapids, Timbers, those could be rough matches for us. But assuming, obviously this doesn't take into account CCC, but I feel pretty good about our opponents these first 5 matches, and hopefully we could come out with at least 12 points.
Yeah, I'm chilling around the 10-point mark myself. I think the home matches are 3 dubs. I think Portland is a tricky situation, and that's probably the toughest test on paper. I'm not expecting a win there. The Galaxy don't really play well when they go up to Portland. Colorado, I'm being kind of like a Debbie Downer and saying a tie, but they actually do pretty well in Colorado, so it could go either way right there. But yeah, 10 out of 15 points, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We weren't.
Well, go ahead, Peyton.
I was just gonna say, sorry, we're not. We weren't a very good road team at all last year. In fact, how many road games did we win?
I think none.
I'm pretty sure it was
Zero.
0. So, I mean, it's a different year. Definitely, obviously, for the Galaxy, you're hoping that you get off on a better start. I'm with Rob. I think we will lose one at home though, because I think we'll rotate. If that first leg in Panama ends up being something where the Galaxy find themselves, needing a big performance in the second leg, I think we're gonna have to sacrifice an MLS game at home in there, probably. Maybe it's the Charlotte one. I think that's the one directly after. Um, Certain teams can just win on any day in Major League Soccer, and I think if they throw out their B squad, and we have better depth this year, I think we'll probably end up losing one at home. I think we'll draw one on the road, but I think we will beat the Rapids. I think we'd draw in Portland and beat the Rapids, and then beat New York City and Kansas City. So I think we'll end up with 10, which, all things considered, is not a bad start, given how we started last season. So yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah, let me stress the importance of getting off on the right foot because 12 months ago, we were looking at the match against San Diego. We were looking at a championship celebration, and everybody had already penciled in that this was going to be a positive result for our guys. And then 2 hours later, you're like, what the hell happened? Right? San Diego fans are celebrating in the stands, and it was just a harbinger of things to come.
No.
And but then you have New York City FC. It's a team, like you said, that they had their issues. They went on a good playoff run. They ran out of gas, and they're trying to recapture some of that magic that took them to that cup win. And was it 2021? I think, Eli.
Yeah,
Um,
2021 where they won. Yeah.
yeah. Charlotte FC is a team that spent a lot of money last year, and they have mixed results. They're very good at home, but like we said, they don't play very well away from Bank of America. And if Galaxy rotates and these guys get a win on the road, they're gonna be going nuts, man. They're gonna be celebrating with Carolina barbecue and all the cheer wine down there. So, um, think you're pointing that out, Peyton, because that it could be a trap match, and especially because I think Saha is looking to bounce back this year. There's a lot of questions around him because they were hoping to make him the centerpiece of their attack, and it just didn't work out like they wanted. And I think their coach is trying to make that happen. Colorado is a big question mark. They just brought in a new manager. They moved a lot of people around, and I don't know. It's one of those teams that you won't really know what they are until we face them. Kansas City is a team that I think they're going through another period of transition, and they could not figure out how to work things with Daniel Velich. When we had Juan Cisneros, who covers Sporting Kansas City, he told us that they had a difficult time trying to get Eric Tommy involved in the attack. He was starved for service. So they don't have him anymore. And he said he was disappointed to see him go because he thought he was one of the bright spots on their team. And then Portland, yeah, Rob, everybody says it. It's difficult to win up in the Pacific Northwest for LA Galaxy. For some reason, as soon as they get into Cascadia, they're like, oh, damn it. But that's one of the stronger teams in the West, and I think that that might be an L for us. So, gentlemen, obviously, if you're going to talk anything about LA Galaxy and where their fortunes are going to take them, obviously it all boils down to Greg Vanny. Let's talk about Greg Vanny because it seems like almost every season he's been with the Galaxy, something has happened either behind the scenes or around the team that you're like, oh, he didn't have all his players. Oh, there's a lot of distractions. Oh, this happened or that happened. And then the one time where everything aligned, of course they won the cup. Now, my buddy who covers the Red Bulls, Bob Ventimiglia, he said that when Greg was with TFC, he kind of had the same issues where everything just needed to be aligned. And that one time when everything was aligned was when the Reds were amazing. TFC won that cup. They did fantastic. But the moment any one player got injured or they had some other issue, everything fell apart. So Galaxy signed Vanny to a multi-year contract extension last year. Obviously, you guys remember it came out. The timing was amazing, right? Right in the middle of that run with Kansas City, Philly, and New York. God, that was horrible.
I was there. It was terrible.
Yeah, it was horrible, man. Let me tell you. If the club is underperforming heading into the summer, do you think they keep him or let him go?
It's
How
tough.
underperforming are we talking about?
Yeah, true.
I mean, let's say the Galaxy's in the bottom half of the West, towards the bottom, and nothing. I hope nothing as bad as last year, but just you could tell the team is just not playing well.
Yeah, you got to let him go.
I agree. It's just tough given the amount of money they just invested in him. Supposedly, I mean, we don't know how much money it was, but I'm assuming it was a decent amount. But I agree there.
What about you, Peyton? What do you think?
I think they should, but I think the different question is if they will, which is what
Mm,
you asked, and I don't think they will.
truth.
I think it would take a full season for the Galaxy to end up below the playoff line another time for the Galaxy to finally part ways with him. But for me, I just look. I first of all, I don't think we will be underperforming to that extreme, and if we are, I will be. I will definitely be on the Vanny out train. I didn't think that he should go after last season. I'm still in that right now. I still don't think he should go, but I think the excuses have run thin for him. And from a personal standpoint, yeah, I mean, if the team's just, you could blame it on Ricky being out again, but you can't blame every season on something else. At some point, there has to be accountability, and at some point, there has to be pressure. But from everything that I've heard from people, who have connections within the organization, zero pressure. But results speak for itself. So we'll see by the end of the season. But mid-season, probably not.
I mean, I haven't been Vanny out yet, and I know a lot of people that was last year or was a different year. But I have believed in Vanny. I've believed in the excuses so far, but I think this is the true test because we're as healthy as we're going to be all year. Obviously, Ricky's out, but we've made up for it somehow. So I'm feeling okay with Vanny as of now, and I just really want to see how this group of players gel.
Yeah, I'm with the lads. I wish that he does well. I've never been Vanny out either. Until deep into that 16 uh game run, there were moments where I'm like, any other league in the world, he'd be out. And like you said, Edgar, the optics were pretty terrible getting that contract extension then, but that's not really his fault. But look, if the Galaxy are setting themselves up to make moves player wise, personnel wise, uh, after the World Cup, then the same should hold true for coaches, right? Because if they're like, oh, there's going to be players available that might not otherwise have thought about MLS, same holds true for coaches, right? There's going to be a bunch of coaches that are going to be out of contract. They're going to be leaving their national team. There might be more availability or a broader pool of candidates. Saying all that, I always come back to one simple question: who would you bring in that's actually a viable candidate that's going to know the league, going to know how to work within the league, actually going to want to develop an academy system all the way through the first team? I mean, there's a lot of things to bring into consideration, not just a simple win-loss column coach.
I mean,
Wilfred Nancy.
No, well, Wilfred Nancy, that wasn't actually the name I was thinking of, but that obviously sounds good. But he just proved at Celtic that he needs a full offseason to get a team together. One name that hasn't been brought up in a little while, and listen, I'm not Vanny out by any means, but Jim Curtin is available,
Big
who
Jim.
Yeah,
who did
big
have that
time.
success in building the Philly Academy, and he's wanted a break from coaching. But who knows? Maybe by summertime he sees the Galaxy struggling, Vanny's out. Maybe he wants to pick up that call.
Look, Eli, if Jim Curtin does come to Los Angeles, it's going to be a contest every single week to see which one of you guys is more fly with your dress code, man. So you don't want that. You don't
We
want to
got the
go against
sneaker
Jim
collection,
Curtin.
man.
Yeah,
I'm here to rival him.
that's what I'm saying. You're gonna every single week is gonna be a battle with Jim Curtin. Jim versus Eli, round one.
Hey, he loves. I'm a big fan of him, and he seems to be a fan of me. So we love Jim. But he would be a name, and then I would never ever bring up this name, but Steve Cherundolo is available, but he is not an upgrade over Vanny, so I will never.
Yeah,
No.
and then he wants to be in Germany anyway. So
Yeah.
No, after hearing LAFC fans talk about Cherundolo,
Well,
I don't want him anywhere near the club.
I will never listen to any LAFC's
Yeah.
fans' opinion on anything because they've literally protested their club once while being first place in the West. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to listen to anything they have to say or their opinions on standards and all that stuff.
Another name I want to throw out there just in case is Robin Fraser because we heard about what Greg Vanny's success was with Toronto, and a lot of TFC people I've spoken to said that Robin Fraser was the real architect behind those championship teams, and that Vanny was just the face, that got the credit. So
Frazier had that one good year with the Rapids too.
Yeah.
That was great.
yeah, and it's not his fault. The Rapids don't spend. I
Mhm.
mean, it's something like they need a new scoreboard. There's a joke. If you ever talk to Matt Pollard, he covers the Rapids. He talks about how at one time their scoreboard caught on fire, I think, and there's like missing pixels. And they secretly started like a little GoFundMe to get a new scoreboard for the stadium, and these are Rapids things. But yeah, it's just
Stan
funny.
Kroenke's stadium. They started a GoFundMe for a Stan Kroenke owned stadium.
Right? And
Yeah.
you think about how much you spent on SoFi, right? And then you got the Rapids.
Oh, that's got to be a slap in the face.
Oh man, that's the
Yeah.
utter miseries, man.
Yeah. Another interesting aspect about Colorado, and I don't want to like go off the rails too much, but their new women's team is getting a downtown stadium.
Oh,
Oh wow.
Yeah, and the Rapids is still way out there in Commerce City, kind of near the airport.
Why can't they share that stadium? Just like
I don't know, right? That'd be awesome.
just make it use both. Like Angel City uses BMO. I mean, just do the same thing. Invest into one. Sorry, going back to the coaches thing because I had one more thing to
Yeah.
say on this. I almost feel like Jim Curtin doesn't exactly fit the way that LA Galaxy play stylistically and have in the past. Maybe I'm wrong on this. And then another thing, he's an incredible coach. I just don't know if he's the fit for the Galaxy. That is why I say Wilfred Nancy, because Columbus Group, they started spending money on guys like Lucas Zelarayan, Cucho, and he had success. I think that translates so well into an LA Galaxy system. He would be my immediate call. You fire Greg Vanny and immediately Wilfred Nancy would be at the helm the next day. Jim Curtin, I mean, and another reason why I'm a little weary of that is the fact that, he leaves, Bradley Carnell comes in and immediately takes that team to the top of the East. He's done a phenomenal job because he's a great coach in his own right. And that makes me a little weary of Jim Curtin too. I know academy wise, Jim Curtin would be a good fit for the, a Rapids, like a low spending team, because he's very good at working within that environment. I don't know if that's what the Galaxy are. And then, Cherundolo. I mean, I'm with you, Eli. LAFC fans don't know ball. And I think it was stupid to fire him. Mutually part ways. I think it was a mutual thing. But there was definitely pressure within the organization after losing those finals, and the fans were against him. I think it would have been stupid because he's brought them so much consistency. I mean, Marc Dos Santos is not guaranteed to keep them at that same level of success, but they always spend a lot. They have a good core, so they'll probably be fine. But that was stupid to begin with, but keep him away from the Galaxy, please.
Yeah. My only counter to Curtin is that we just haven't seen him with a team that spends money. And he did overachieve for many years with Philly, so it'd be interesting to see. But I agree though, for the most part.
Yeah, it'll be like giving him like a super high powered car, and then he like puts it in the gear and smashes it into the first tree, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, we have another super chat real quick. We can talk about that because we're getting ready to start the season. Let's see. Blessing Paintil asks $2 super chat. Thank you so much. All the blessings to you, gentlemen. What's your pick for a top spot to eat at the Digs?
Pupusas easy. Pupusas with a purpose.
Yeah.
Those are great, but I want to put y'all on something different. And if you're willing to spend a little money, because it's not the cheapest, but I guess with the whole Japangelist movement that we've brought in, recently they've added a yakitori stand, which is the meat skewers, And my God, are those fantastic. Some of the best yakitori I've had, and I get it every time I'm at the dig. So if you want to meet up with me at the home opener, chances are I'll be at the yakitori stand after the hardcore show, of course.
Yeah, of course. I'm with Rob. I think pupusas ain't cheap either. I'll
Nothing is
say
there.
that much, but they go to a good purpose, so it makes you feel better. And then also not like a lunch or dinner type meal, but Kathy's cookies for dessert, definitely. Also not cheap. Nothing's cheap in a stadium in Los
Not at
Angeles.
all.
I
Nah,
used to love my father's barbecue as well. I haven't had it in a while, but I'm sure it's still great.
Yeah.
yeah, I try really hard not to spend at the stadium, which is I'm so grateful. We have so many awesome tailgates before the game. I've been tailgating with the Inland Empire G's. They have like a themed uh, potluck for every game. They look at who they're playing and they're like, okay, let's what can we do, right? So I'm looking forward to seeing what they're gonna do for NYCFC. Um, but when I do eat in the stadium, I really like that little guacamole bowl. I think it's really delicious, and it's like it's not too expensive, and that's just my thing. But I do agree with Eli. The yakitori is delicious. I had it a couple times. I also missed my father's barbecue. I haven't had that in a while. Uh, I just wish the food wasn't so expensive. I mean, because it's
Unfortunately, that's
crazy.
just everywhere. Like that's just how
Yeah.
it is. Except for Atlanta, apparently. I haven't been
Yeah.
out there yet.
Atlanta. All right, gentlemen, let's get into the team itself. Okay, if Chewy can bring up the depth chart that I put together. I put this depth chart together just about a week ago. I was looking at who's in, who's out. Sorry, it's kind of blurry. Amazing NAG graphics over here. Um, we have BV right there below Paint Seal, but BV's gone. He's off to Tampa Bay. Um, Looking at this depth chart, of the new players, who do you guys think will make the biggest impact this year?
It's got to be Justin Hack for me, right? I mean, he's been the most touted for Vanny, for Will, as being that versatile piece, right? What does he bring to the Galaxy? He gives Greg so many different options and looks. Our colleague Alex Reese called out that his passing ability to get passes through the lines is first rate. So when you have a center back or a defensive midfielder that can pass out of the back like that, you're going to be plugging that hole that you had a hard time plugging last year, which was ball progression. Last year, the Galaxy had a tremendous time moving the ball upfield. If you can't move the ball upfield, you can't make chances. Justin Hack's going to go a long way to curing that. Jakob Glasnes as well. Little known fact about him, but he told us that he loves playing a ball out of the back. So watch for him to go ahead and do that a little bit more as well.
I also want Jacob Glesnes to take over any long range free kick opportunity. If you've ever seen his amazing goal against
Rockets.
LAFC, Rocket Central. For me, it's got to be Joao Klaus. I mean, he might not be the DP signing that a lot of Galaxy fans are hoping for, but the fact that he's fitting that bill for us this year, he's got to come through. And we had a striker issue last year, we had a goal scoring issue last year for a lot of the season, and I just need to see him get back to what he was for that brief stint in 2023 for St. Louis, when he was electric. And I'm hoping that he could have a 16 type goal season for us. So that's my pick.
Mine would also be Galesnis. I think you'd pay the big money for him. He was second in MLS Defender of the Year voting last year. He's a year older, but I don't think that's going to matter very much. I think he's an easy lock for Galaxy Defender of the Year. He might be up there in MLS conversations. He's a guy, in my opinion, that just transcends a back line. From one of the worst in MLS to honestly one of the best in MLS. I know on that depth chart, Mai Yoshida starting. I don't know if he's the starter, honestly. I think Amir Garces and Justin Hack are picks over them that I would go with. But I think you might see Hack in the midfield. You very much might see Hack in the midfield instead of a Lucas Sanabria guy to start with. I know Vanny kind of mentioned that he wanted to go with two lineups, one for MLS, one for CONCACAF. So surely those guys will get plenty of starts in there. But I think your strongest lineup has Justin Hack in the midfield alongside Edwin Cerrillo and Marco Royce, and then Amiro Garces paired at center back. with Jakub Golesnes. And I think that's like, man, that's like a yin and yang. You got speed in Emiro Garces. He could catch up to any player in the world. And you got just an absolute anchor in Jakub Golesnes. And I think he's going to be phenomenal. He's going to be a breath of fresh air. I don't remember being this excited for a center back probably ever to join the Galaxy as I am Jakub Golesnes. But Hack will be the long-term guy. Just Golesnes from a leadership standpoint too. Do not be surprised if this guy wears the captain's armband at a point this season. I think they'll probably start with Marco Reus, but I think very quickly he'll prove to be a guy in the locker room that's just always prevalent and always outspoken and vocal, just a leader of the back line that we really needed. So Jakub Golesnes, all the praise that I have for him.
Yes, you touched on something that is a running theme with a lot of the new additions with this club. For this club, is that a lot of the players that joined this team were either leaders on the field or in the clubhouse, wearing either the captain's armband or just being vocal leaders and a very positive influence in the locker room. When we spoke to Juan Cisneros, who covers Kansas City, he said that Eric Tommy's the type of guy who would always joke with his teammates. He was the one who would always start the conversation about who was the man of the match. We heard about Jock Laus being just a very jovial person, likes to joke a lot. Also, somebody who's been a captain. Same with Eric Tommy. And then with Golesnes, same thing. Just a very hardworking guy who has a really good attitude. And isn't that something that you really want on your team? Because they're not the flashiest guys, right? But what did I tell you, Eli, when we were at CBI? These are lunch pail guys. They put on their hard hats and just get to work. So, gentlemen, looking at this current roster, and let's see if we can bring up the depth chart real quick. Looking at the current roster, are there any players that you think will underperform this season?
Nah, they're all gonna be Ballon d'Or winners this year, man. They're all no. That's what you expect, right? You would want them to, like, give everything. Like, you've already had a year last year where you had a bunch of underperforming players. I mean, you had Elijah Wander, you had Lucas Sanabria, you had to a certain extent Marco Reus with his injury problems. So you would hope that they could kick on from that. I mean, if anything, one of the ways that one of the reasons they constructed this roster is exactly for that reason. They're not getting any unknown quantities this year. They're getting people that have been, to a certain extent, successful in this league already. You know what you're going to get already from these players, right? And then the ones that you don't are the ones that you've already had a year with and that should make that next step. So, I mean, I really don't think that you're going to have underperformers as is. You're going to have some players go through like rough spells, basically, as with every player. But I mean, last year you could very clearly point to players that weren't up to snuff. This year, I think it's going to be harder for Greg to pick his lineups because so many people are forcing his hand.
Actually, I will say a name. First of all, as Joe said in the chat, they all underperformed last year. So yeah, very low bar.
Yeah.
Very hard to say someone's going to be worse than last year. But one player I do think who should feel the pressure in his starting lineup spot is actually Mickey Amane.
There you go.
Just because I think we have two great young right backs behind him. I've been kind of on the I'm ready to move on from Yamane Yoshida train. And I think this year, if Yamane isn't playing at a high level, Cuevas at least will overtake him for that spot. So I would say he's the one. I'm not going to say he's going to underperform, but I'm saying he should definitely feel the most pressure with his starting spot.
Yeah. It's hard to predict players to underperform when a lot of them did, as they commented in chat last season. So it's like almost saying they'd be as bad as last year. And I think the team generally will be better. Yamane, I don't think should be the starter. It should definitely be Mauricio Cuevas, in my opinion. And Maya Yoshida too. I think he's past his prime. I think both of them are at this point. And the Galaxy should, probably look into 2027 and alternatives to them. So I would say Yamane and Yoshida, but I think bringing back Nascimento when you're going to sign Joao Klaus as a designated player and Nascimento can't start more than 50% of the games, it doesn't make much sense to me. It almost feels like they're setting him up for failure. So I wouldn't be surprised to, have a lot of people being like, wait, why did we bring back Nascimento? It's going to happen because he's not going to play very often. And when he does, it's going to be in a short amount of minutes. So his stats probably won't look great for a striker. And then I don't know if I fully believe in this Lucas Sanabria recovery story this season. I think he's a common pick to bounce back, but I'm sorry. I know it's the very, very common pick. Everybody believing in him.
The Goss theorem, baby.
Yeah, I don't see it. I'm sorry.
I'm going to throw a name out there because somebody asked me the same question in one of the preseason previews I was on, and I thought about it, and I was like, who did I see last year? And like we said, a lot of people were underperforming, but who did I see that really looked like to having a really hard time was Edwin Cerrillo. I felt that there were some games where he just completely crumbled, and you could feel that the pressure was on him. Maybe I mean it's the age, and he's a young player. He's still like trying to find his way in the team. What his role is. Is this a team where the midfield took a lot of pressure, a lot of lumps last year, and Edwin Cerrillo, we've seen him when he does well, when he's surrounded by a strong team. I just felt like he he's at a crossroads, I think, in his career where either he bounces back with this new group of guys that he's in there and he continues to mature as a player, or he's gonna think back to how he was last year and maybe he's plateaued. But that's just me offering a name. I don't know if you guys have any more insight on that, or if you think you saw something like I did, but just to put a name out there as somebody who I mentioned.
I'm with that. I will say I am on the Sanabria hype train. I think he's going to be the player that Will Kuntz thought he would be this year. So I'm not going to judge him yet. I'm still high on him. David Goss theorem. That's all I got to say.
I love Edwin, man. I just love Edwin. I can't see it. I think even last year, a lot of his struggles came from the fact that he was having to play a number 8 role that, because he was having to pick up all the mileage that Mark Delgado left in that midfield. And I think that isn't fair on him when he's naturally a 6. And when he has a competent number 8 next to him, that's, putting in all the mileage. I think he's a very good defensive midfielder. It's just when you try to get him all over the field and you have a guy next to him, whether it's, Sanabria or Winder at the start of the season, and it just didn't work out because it felt like Cerrillo was just always let down by the man next to him, and that made him feel out of sorts. 2024, when he had that very good midfield of Cerrillo, Delgado, Push, absolute cinema because it just worked. Everybody functioned in a well-oiled machine, and you could say that Cerrillo had a down year last year, but I felt like he was one of the more consistent guys because he always left everything out on the field, in my opinion, and even playing a role that he shouldn't have, I thought that he did fine in. But yeah, definitely not up to 2024 standards for him, but I think you just got to get him a good number 8.
And we have another super chat real quick. Adam asks $2 super chat. He asks, shouldn't Christian Ramirez have pressure? I feel he's filling in that Miguel Berry role right now, the one where we saw Zubac doing a few years ago.
Yeah.
I think he's at the end of his rope where it's like you had the opportunity to lead the attack, and in fact you kind of hampered it, right? He's not the quickest guy, and he just isn't at the level where he was with other clubs. The funny thing is, some of our buddies who cover the crew for the Wise Men Say podcast told us this guy's gonna hurt your attack. He's like, he's not the quickest guy. Keep that, and they mentioned that to me at the start of last season, and it was on my mind throughout the season, and I was like, oh my god, I guess they were right. We were really hoping he would capture some of that same energy he had when he was at Minnesota, but it just wasn't to be. But I'm moving on because I want to get to some of the things you guys mentioned here. It's some of the topics we were going to cover. Where we talked about Maya Yoshida, right? Where does Maya Yoshida fit on this team? Because he was the captain. He's been the captain for so long. And at the same time, you look at somebody who's also got another year in his legs. We're talking about Marco Reus. Do we expect Reus to play, be your starting 11 every Sunday? I don't know. The MLS season is a long marathon. So I'm asking you guys, You can pick one or the other. Where does Marco Royce fit on this team? Where does Maya Yoshida fit on this team? Does Maya Yoshida still wear the captain's armband? Does he belong in the starting 11?
For me, Maya Yoshida, and I hate to be harsh, is our fifth center back.
Yep.
And I think he will fill in that Eric Zavaleta role beautifully and hopefully not see the field much. And I hate to say that because I love Yoshida. But for me, I'd rather even see Chris Rindov over him as of now and where things stand. And I'm just going to do this very quickly with Marco Royce. I mean, we never signed him to start every match, but I think that's why you bring in a guy like Eric Tommy to where they'll probably split minutes this season.
Yeah, I disagree a little bit with Eli. I don't think that he's Maya's fifth choice. Um, I think
That's
that
just where I would put him.
yeah, I don't think that he's gonna start for sure. I think that he's probably fourth choice right now, so you're not too far off Eli. But I mean, he's definitely behind Glesnes. He's definitely behind Hack. Definitely behind Garces right now. So I the good thing about the season is that the Galaxy have a lot of games quickly. So Maya's gonna get his moments and his experience is invaluable, especially for younger players like Chris Rindolph to go ahead and start alongside him and get that experience. I saw him at the CVI start alongside Pipa Magana, and they were talking really frequently. So Maya has this function. I mean, your question is where does he fit on this team? To impart his wisdom and experience that he's had over a glittering career, he's a consummate professional. Teach these young men how to be in the locker room and how to engage with fans and how to engage with press. I mean, these are not insignificant things. Now, on the sporting side, I do think that he does still offer something to this team. Um, he's a proud warrior. He's a player that is honest as well. He told us at the end of last season that it wasn't a good year for him. If he has another year like that he was just he said he was gone. Now I don't know if that means he's gone from the team or he's hanging it up, but that's how seriously he's taking it. So I think that combined with all the work that he's done in the off season. I think Maya does still have something to offer this team. And now, in regards to Marco Royce, if he's healthy, he's got to be in the starting 11. I mean, that Eli's right. That's not why he was bought. He was bought to spell Ricky Pooch, but the new reality is Ricky Pooch isn't there, so you got to go with what you have. Marco Royce does still have tons of quality left in him. You're not going to get him every week, unfortunately, so that's why you do have people like Eric Tommy. So Maya Yoshida, no, not a starter. Marco Royce, if he's fit, yes, a starter.
Yeah, I'm with Eli. If I'm drawing the depth chart up right now, I have Maya Yoshida as the fifth choice behind Chris Rindolph. I also think he's just that Zavaleta role where he's a good locker room guy. He's one of those leaders that you kind of need. It's just, I can't trust him on a football pitch right now. I just can't. I have to see it again. I can't trust him, but I think he'll be fine in that role. He won't get nearly as many starts, but I wouldn't be surprised if Greg Vanny has him as his fourth choice above Chris Rindolph for how much he's making salary wise. I think he will, get rotational minutes in there. So that's definitely an option on the cards. Another thing, to quickly touch on Marco Royce, I think I also agree. I think he just splits minutes with Eric Tommy. If you're relying on Royce to play 34 games, you're going to be very let down. It seems like the Galaxy were a bit surprised last year that he's injured, and I'm just like, wow, have you not paid attention to Marco Royce's whole career?
Entire career.
Like,
Yeah, he never played 34 matches a season for Dortmund. Like it's not a thing,
yeah. So that's all.
No. So let's address another super chat here. Adam asks, $5 super chat. Who's the starting left back opening day for you guys? Julian Alder or Johnny Nelson? One of my questions for you guys was, who's your ideal starting 11? Let's bring up that depth chart, Chewy, please. And you guys can go ahead. You pick your starting 11 for opening day against NYCFC.
All right, I'll hit you because I got it pretty much locked up already. Yeah, you got him right there. JP, Klaus, Peck, Marco Royce, and then I would actually go Edwin Serio Hack as your center defensive midfielder, and Edwin Serio kind of playing that role of the 8. And then you have John Nelson, you have Jakub Lesnes, Emiro Garces, and then you have I am going to go Mickey Yamane on the right. Sorry, Peyton. I know that you're wishing me ill at the moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mickey Yamane right there.
Yeah, dude, that fence gonna be laced next time.
Damn it.
I have the same exact lineup as you, except the fullbacks are swapped. I have Julian Ade at left back, and I have Mauricio Cuevas at right back. I think Julian Ade and Mauricio Cuevas just bring a whole nother dynamic to that attack. For
Sure,
the
but
Galaxy.
balance.
Yeah, but I think Julian Ade is very underrated as a defender. Mauricio Cuevas, I know a lot of people had a gripes with him last year in his defending, but I think if you have a competent back line behind him, it gives him a lot more freedom, and his crossing abilities, honestly, in my opinion, it's just by far the best on this team. And if you have a target man like Joao Klaus up top, man, Mauricio Cuevas is going to be pinging it to Joao Klaus all season. And if you miss out on that and you have Miki Amane in there, I think it's just an obvious, letdown when you're going forward. I mean, Yamane defensively wasn't good last year, but I would have Julian Ade in there. I think what he brings into the attack is just John Nelson's steady Eddie, but I would go Julian Ade. He has a U22 spot. This has to be his year. And if it's not, and if he's not the starter, then you have to move on from him because the U22 spot's more valuable than a left back, in my opinion. If he's not the starter.
Absolutely.
By the way, I want to point something out before Eli mentions his starting is in our conversation I had with Matt Baker, who covers St. Louis City. When we first got Johnny Nelson, I asked him, what went wrong, and he had mentioned to me, this, way back when, that John Nelson had developed really good synergy with Joao Klaus. And when Joao Klaus went down with injury, all of a sudden John Nelson's role was diminished. And then he got hurt, and then somebody took his starting spot. And when he was healthy, he was never able to get it back. And then Joao Klaus just wasn't the same after that. And but now they're back on the same team. So it's something to keep an eye on. So Eli, knowing that, what do you have in your starting 11?
I mean, I'm team John Nelson just in general, but I do think just because I saw Aude start more in preseason, I did have a question. Is Cerrillo knocked up or no? Is he good?
He'll be good.
He's good.
Okay, because he didn't play the match the one match I watched in preseason. I don't like watching preseason, but for me, this is what I think will happen, not necessarily what I want, but Mitrovic and net. Right back, left back will be Aude, Yamane. Center backs will be Garces, Glesnes. I see. It's tough because I actually want to see Hack as a center back more for us because I believe in Sanabria. But I will go Hack with Cerrillo, Royce, Peck, Paintsel, Klaus up top. But I would like to see what Hack and Glesnes could do together. Oh, he is. Wait, is Cerrillo actually suspended the first match?
Yeah, he is.
Oh, then it'll be probably Hack as the 6, Cerrillo or Sanabria as the 8. That's just what I think Fanny's going to do, and I could almost put money on that.
By the way, it's worth noting, Juan Cisneros from KC, he told us that Eric Tommy can play the wing, either one. So in case Painto or Peck, need some time off or they get hurt, Eric Tommy can definitely step in, and he's somebody who he's like it's nothing, no big deal for him. It's something he could just do, and he's pretty deadly because on cuts towards the box, if defenders step back and give him a little bit of space, he will punish you. And we've seen that he scored some bangers from there for Kansas City.
I mean, for me, he's basically like the cheaper and can play more centrally version of Diego Fagundes for us. So that's kind of how I view that signing. But I do think, he will be able to fill in the 10 a bit more than Fagundes was able to. But yeah, I hear he could play on the wing, and I'm sure he's going to be our third winger this year.
We have another super chat, and this one's for you, Eli. Question from Blessing Painso asks, thank you so much, by the way. Eli, guaranteed Sanabria is good this year. Totally agree. I have Peck leading goals, but Sanabria is most improved. How many goals for Sanabria this season?
I wouldn't say goals per se, but for me, I would love him to just cover ground the way Mark Delgado did. That's what I see as an improvement. But if he could get like 10 to 12 goal contributions, not goals themselves, that'd be like a very, very successful season, I think, for him. But I'm mainly just seeing what type of an engine he could have. And you guys talked about how what benefited Cerrillo with having Mark Delgado, it also benefits a player like Marco Royce to have someone who could cover the ground that Royce can't cover.
I will go out on a limb and say if he has 12 goal contributions, I will do a podcast in a tub. Shirtless in a tub if he has 12 goals. But it's as a midfielder, it's more about the eye test for me. And like you touched on, Eli, it's just really about what you see with your eyes. So I think that's more of a metric for Lucas Sanabria this year is, how well is he filling in that presumably the number 8 role for the Galaxy. So, yeah.
Peyton, just reminder, last time I made a pronouncement like that, I ended up having to oil up. So I'm looking forward to that hot tub stream, man.
I'll
Oil
oil
me
up.
up, woman. Oil me up. Willie. Rob, I wanted you to answer this question, and then you guys can also pitch in. We talked about this already, right? But I just want to highlight it because it's something that's going to come up with Klaus taking that top spot at forward, right? What does that mean for Nascimento? Now, we mentioned, right, like, oh my God, we signed Nascimento for the 6-month loan, and let's see how he does on his trial. But then Ricky went down, and you're like, what do you do with that DP spot? And it's something that I know a lot of us had discussed already. Do you commit to Nascimento, who is still a project, and hope he does well? Hope he can score some goals for you, or do you go and get a proven scorer, more of like a veteran type? And looks like Galaxy did both. Check. But Nascimento's only here for 6 months. What does that mean for him?
Yeah, it means that when he does get chances, he has to play well and come good. I mean, the Galaxy have said plenty of times that they're positioning themselves for the best possible roster completion after the World Cup. There's going to be names out there that they're going to want to go for. So if Nascimento is in any way, shape, or form causing them question marks, it's not going to be hard for them to just say, okay, Botafogo, thanks so much for extending the loan for 6 months. We're going to go another way. Saying that there's going to be opportunities for him to play. I mean, Klaus is, by all intents and purposes, fit and everything like that, but he's not going to be able to play 4 games in 10 days. Right. So 4 games in 9 days, actually. So Nascimento's going to get chances. And when he does, he needs to be dangerous. He needs to figure out ways to contribute to the team.
Yeah.
Eli, Peyton?
Well, I'd say best case scenario is he's 2022 Dejan Joveljic. But, I doubt that. But I think it is whatever with him. And like Rob said, it wouldn't be the biggest loss in the world, especially given we have Joao Klaus. And I was always on the train of I wanted to use that DP spot on a striker. I know Peyton disagrees, but I'm happy with what we ended up with.
Yeah, I just think you could look at our midfield depth right now and say that this Galaxy team goes as far as the midfield goes. Mm-hmm. And that's certainly, I know we'll go into, season predictions very shortly here, but that's how I think the Galaxy season will go, is just however good your midfield is. And that's why I would have used a U22 spot or a DP spot on a striker. But for me, it's if you're going to use a DP spot on a number 9, Joao Klaus, proven MLS forward, he won't be a DP after this year. That deal's grown on me. Then why use your U22 spot on a backup who's not going to start many games? That's my gripe, is that if you're going to have Joao Klaus, I could be convinced into that. I like I said, I would grade the signing probably like a B plus. Maybe it's not as ambitious as you'd expect, but getting a guy to agree to return for 1 year is a little difficult, or to stay for 1 year as a DP is a little difficult when you have Ricky Puig coming back. However, I will say that instead of Nascimento coming back, it should have been a U22 attacking midfielder. Absolutely, it should have been, or a number 8. But I would have preferred a U22 attacking midfielder, because now you're looking at your 3 U22 spots, which is critical to roster construction in Major League Soccer, being used on a left back who may or may not be the starter, a striker who will not be the starter, and Lucas Sanabria, who had a very poor start.
Also will not be the starter.
Yeah, also will probably not be the starter. So you look at those U22 spots, and that's my issue with Nascimento, is because expectations for him, I mean, I don't know. He came back, but I don't think he's gonna have too big of a role to play for the Galaxy, and it's gonna be I don't understand this move by Will Kuntz, and I think our U22 spot usage has been very poor from a very good general manager. That's just something that doesn't sit right with me right now.
I think what it came down to was just having a guy fill up that spot. I'm just convinced that Will Kuntz didn't have anyone that he was ready to sign. That's
That's
where
crazy to me.
I think that comes in. They just wanted to have the slot filled, and like we keep mentioning, that slot could be very well be opened in the summer. So
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it will. I just think it's a little wild to me that the whole thing after the season was Greg Vanney being like, I want a striker that could score 15. Like he wasn't very keen on Nascimento coming back in the first place. So it just feels like they're waving the white flag and they're like, well, we couldn't find anyone. Welcome back, Nascimento. And in that case, it's just like, what are we doing? Like we're supposed to be a competent organization. I believe in the mind of Will Kuntz and the genius of Will Kuntz more than him just making a move like that just to be like, he's played the Vanny system, get him in here. But if that is the case, which is why this looks like it is, because I can't think of any other reason why they have Nascimento back. So I think you are right. It's weird. It just feels unambitious to me, but it opens it up in the summer. Maybe they'll be able to make a crazy move after the World Cup, but with the U22 spot, we'll see because we don't have a DP spot open.
All right, guys, we're gonna start wrapping it up soon. But before we do, let's give our prognostications, our hopes for this LA Galaxy team. Where does Galaxy finish in the West, and how far do they go in the playoffs? Give me your quick answer. Start with Eli.
all right, so this will reveal my season predictions that I'm going to release at the end of the year, like my standing predictions. I have us as the 4th seed in the West. And the unfortunate thing is the way I have it lined up is we would play the Seattle Sounders in the first round. And I don't know if we beat the Seattle Sounders. So but I would love, a one home playoff game. Hopefully we could win that one. But I have us as the 4th seed as of now.
Peyton.
I have the Galaxy as the 7th seed right now. I think, like I said, this team only goes as far as the midfield goes because the pieces in front of it, Klaus, Paintsill, Peck, I believe in, the back line significantly better. But the midfield is just very average to me. So I think it's going to lead to a very average season for the LA Galaxy. And yeah, I think they'll get first rounded probably. But it'll be a step forward. And I think everything's building towards 2027. So yeah.
Rob.
I'm going 6th. I'd like to say that excuse me, they're gonna get that 4th seed in the home playoff game, but they're gonna need to put some things together. And honestly, like I still have worries about the attack and how much they're gonna be able to create. So yeah, 6th. If we're talking, yes, they will make the playoffs, obviously in 6th, and yeah, they might get, depending on the draw, they might get past the first round. Who knows? And in the playoffs, really, anybody can get hot.
I'm gonna be a positive Pete. I'm gonna say 4th. Our buddy Rob, who covers Red Bull, also is a podcaster for Designated Pundits, and they do a lot of betting and prognostications. And he says he has LA Galaxy finishing 4th in the West, and he says he's very excited about this Galaxy team. He got me more excited about the team than I already was. So I'm gonna go and say 4 because I'm always trying to be more positive on these things. And I think getting past a first round, shocking Seattle would be fantastic, Eli. So let's hope that we don't run into Seattle in that first round. Maybe it's somebody else, but hopefully I think they can get past the first round. What constitutes a successful season for you guys?
I just want to add real quick. If we are the 6th or 7th seed and we run into San Diego in the first round, I think we do get to the second round. They're weaker on the road and also like F San Diego. So that I would say we win that first round if we play San Diego, but I don't know. But sorry, back to the question.
Yeah, what constitutes a successful season?
Playoffs, a feeling that there has been progress in the development of the youth players. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that I mean, obviously, it's easy to say a successful season is MLS Cup, right? But there's other things involved, right? I mean, how deep you get into the Champions Cup? Do you win the Champions Cup, and that means you don't win MLS Cup? I mean, there's a lot of variables there, right? So, um, a a legitimate challenge in both competitions, and I'm talking about maybe like a quarterfinal, semifinal in the Champions Cup. Uh, they go on a run in the playoffs a little bit, but yeah, that's successful to me. Like progress over last season, that's not going to be hard, obviously, but you know the I talk about this all the time. One of the reasons that Seattle's so successful is their stability. The Galaxy, even in that 2024 season, they were coming off another year of instability, right? It's been a year of instability, a successful season, a year of instability, a successful season, maybe a couple years of instability. Now I want them to get to this place where even if they do get bounced in the first round, they're sowing the seeds for future years in which they're stable and they don't go through seasons where they have 16 games without a win, and then they miss the playoffs. What is it now? Like 4 out of the last 6 years they've missed the playoffs. So
Yeah.
that needs to turn around. This is the LA Galaxy. They need to be one of the most stable teams in MLS. If not always challenging for MLS Cup, the perennial playoff contenders. There's a reason that phrase exists, doing a Seattle, because Seattle's known as starting slow, then getting hot towards the end of the year, and then making a run in the playoffs. What is the version of, doing the LA Galaxy? Maybe they can answer that this year.
It used to be winning every game at the digs. My answer to that question real quick is just setting ourselves up for Ricky to come back and for us to win in 2027 and to look like we're heading in that direction.
Yeah. I think for the Galaxy's success in 2026, like you guys have alluded to, means building for 2027, but not just 2027, but 28, 29, 30, all of these future seasons. The Galaxy need to be another Seattle in the Western Conference. This organization, Greg Vanny, Wilkins, I think they understand that, look, 2024 was the right year to go all in for. And if they don't sign Marco Royce, if they don't push all of the cards forward to making a run in 2024, I don't think that they win MLS Cup. So sure, it put the 6-star. Perfect. Going forward, it cannot be that way. You cannot, because it's very hard to win in Major League Soccer with 30 teams. The league's probably going to expand even more in the next few years. We need to be another consistent contender that just is a pest at the top. And this season, I think as long as the Galaxy make the playoff, I think the bare minimum is making the playoffs and making the quarterfinals of CONCACAF Champions Cup. And performance-wise, I just want to see the team have a certain grit about them. I want to see the defense shore up if you're going to invest that much into it. And this team needs to fight. It needs to be a team that is always battling through games, not dropping their heads like they did in 2025. And even if we lose in the first round, I want to see a fight. I want to see an absolute dogfight from this team. So I think that constitutes a successful season. I know it's always MLS Cup or nothing if you're a Los Angeles team, but look, I think we're going to have to take a step back for one season and just set things up for stability in the future. And that's what I think this year and probably a bit of the mini season will be, setting the Galaxy up for the future. And I like that. I like that outlook on things.
All right, guys, we're running out of time here. But before we go, I just want to ask you guys, what goals, if any, have you set for yourselves for this season?
Have people kind of look at the articles that I write as a trusted source of news and information on Galaxy, and the state of the team, what they're doing, stuff like that. Same for the pod. I mean, hopefully you guys can always look to Laguna for accurate info, and that's hopefully what we do for you guys.
For myself, for at least us Galaxy podcasters and people, a while ago we did a wing night, and I'd like to bring all of us together for a wing night. That's a big goal, and I'd love to have a wing off with Rob, see who could eat more.
That's easy, you brother. That's easy, you.
But what I will say is, someone mentioned earlier in the chat, shout out Ant, he mentioned certain, he likes my short form, wants to see more long form. I have a project that I'm really trying to get launched. I think will satisfy that need. I need the right backing behind it, but we're getting close. It's just, really, really want to get it out there.
Yeah, from a personal perspective on Talking Galaxy, I want to hopefully reach monetization on this so we could get super chats and stuff like that because I think it's going to really help with what we do. We want to be able to funnel money directly back into the podcast, so we're able to expand and do the great things that you do here on News Across the Galaxy and Rob does on Lacuna Galaxia. And that would go a long way because most of the people on our podcast are a bunch of college students. So I think being able to earn monetization to elevate the level of our podcast and bring the best content we possibly can for Galaxy fans around Los Angeles, wherever you're from. We're an international club, would just be great. And then on a personal standpoint, I do photography. So being able to do photography for a Galaxy game, hopefully this season is a goal I'm working to get across the line here. So we shall see.
And for me, real quick, my biggest goal is to try to bring you guys closer to some of the other teams. Whenever we have podcasts with some other teams, we learn about their club culture, the supporter culture, the experience at their stadium, what to expect, and also give you an insight on their clubs that you normally would not get as an outsider. So look for more of that content throughout the season and also spending some time with our good friends like Eli, Rob, and Peyton throughout the season. So, gentlemen, let's start with Peyton. Peyton, where can G's find you on social media?
Yeah, the podcast is at Talking Galaxy on Instagram, and then I've also started a Liverpool page because I'm a Liverpool supporter as well.
Whoa.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Anfield Headlines _ on Instagram if you want to find me there. And yeah, thank you for having me on the podcast. Very grateful to be alongside some very, very great creators today. And yeah, I know you guys won the tournament, the Outlaws Community Cup, but I'm here to let you know, Edgar, that Club de Cabral will be back. Whenever that tournament comes back around, we will be back, and that penalty shootout will go the opposite way. So
who knows? They might have a different keeper next time.
yeah, maybe. God knows we could have used a keeper that could save a pen. So thank you all for having me on the podcast. Very, very much humbled to be on.
Eli, where can we follow you during 2026?
Follow me everywhere at Eli Lesser TV. If you want to reach me, Instagram. I don't respond on any other platform. I also have merch out, which I'm wearing the hat of right now. Beautiful corduroy hat. So ashesandangels.com. You will see it out there. We still have a ton of the collection available. So, I'd appreciate the support. And other than that, hopefully, like I mentioned, you'll see certain announcements from me soon. It's just whether they get over the line or not, but hopefully they will. But thank you so much for having me, guys.
Rob, where can we find Lacuna?
Guys, thank you so much for having me. You guys can find Lacuna Galaxiana at Lacuna Galaxiana on all platforms. Check out our usual Monday and Thursday night streams, and you can find me online at the Escalito, the LA. Going to be starting this week, actually, to be dropping a weekly column here about the Galaxy, so look out for that.
So from me and Chewy and the rest of the News Across the Galaxy crew, we thank you once again for joining us tonight. Hey, a huge thank you, a round of applause for our good friends that joined us tonight. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate having you on here because we're getting ready for the season. Hopefully it's a big comeback season. We need it so badly. Rob, there's only one thing left to say, Rob. Take it away.
Yeah, y'all know what it is. G's up!
And as we always say, keep on nagging and Wu-Tang for life. Let's go.
Yeah. Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing.